hard thing to do, but it's why it's taking us a little more time. If we just wanted to put something out to be first, we could already put something out because, like I said, we were working on LLMs 5 years ago, but we wanted to get something that was going to be reliable enough. So that's why we're still have this stuff in the lab. Is there a way to verify the integrity of a corpus for training? I don't know the details on that, but I'm assuming that once you have created a reliable corpus, you could, as you would with any other data set, you could do a hash, calculate a hash value on that, then compare the hash, store that somewhere. And then whenever you want to, you can check the integrity of the language model by verifying that the hash still matches what it used to. That's the way we have for many years been able to detect if a file has been tampered with. So we could do that. But the larger question here is more complex. It's not just as the file changed, because maybe we're going to make the system so that the files will continue, the language model will continue to learn, and therefore it will be changing. This is one of these things that really is a hard problem to solve. It's why we have to curate the corpus. We have to choose which sources we want it to read in from. If you take a child and teach them to read and turn them loose on the internet, they will learn all kinds of things, and many of them are not true, and some of them are awful. So we have to be careful that we feed just the right sources in, and then we have to correct it, correct the system when it makes wrong inferences. That takes a lot of time. And we've been working on those problems for years, literally. So that is and that, by the way, is another area that's going to require human intelligence to oversee the AI and make sure that it's coming up with the right kinds of things, sort of the sanity check on the AI. Next question in the chat was, most of the times we see artificials in science fiction, book, movies, artificials are presented in a very bad way. Artificial intelligence will harm us in the future. I would put it this way. As with any technology, the potential to do good is usually equal to the potential to do bad. So it can do either, and it's going to be up to us which it does. My guess is it'll do some of both. And it's going to depend on how good a job we do. Yes, if you look at the Terminator, Skynet is out to kill us all. And if you look at 2001: A Space Odyssey, it was, the system was acting up and not responding the way we wanted it to. So we have a lot of these dystopian ideas of what AI could be. I think right now at this point, those are not my big concerns. Maybe one day they will be. But right now, my bigger concern is that we're going to start relying on AI as a source of truth. And if it's not true, we'll start to believe lies. And if we start to believe lies, then we end up, we already have enough problem with this with people, with fake news. People will, in the political realm, believe things that are not true because they have a limited set of information and are lazy intellectually and don't want to think through things. I think AI will make that problem worse if we're not very careful. I do think AI can improve our lives in a lot of ways, though. For instance, medical devices, as if we can get them reliable enough, they could make much better, more informed decisions. We could use a chatbot interface. Imagine all the people that don't have access to a world-class physician that's an expert in a particular field. If we could gather their knowledge and put it into a chat interface, a natural language interface, then even if it wasn't perfect, it would be better than people who aren't seeing a doctor at all. And maybe a clinic in some remote location would be able to have access to better medical information than they would otherwise. And again, get that through a natural language interface. I think that can improve people's lives. I think there's a lot of things that AI can do for us. And as I told you, if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be using ChatGPT on an almost daily basis. But I use it as part of my creative process. When I wanted to do a video, the next video that comes out, is on Internet of Things security. And when I wanted to do that, I had some ideas of what I wanted to talk about, but I went to ChatGPT and I said, how do I secure the Internet of Things? And it gave me a list of about 15 different measures that you could do. And I would say about a third of those were really good. About a third of them were okay, but most people would never do them. They're not all that practical. And then another third were kind of copies of the other two thirds, just restating it in a different way. So would that be a perfect list? No, but it was a nice starter set. If I'm trying to brainstorm, I'd like something to feed me some ideas and then get my mind working and also make sure I didn't miss anything. So it's useful for that. But notice I'm still the human in the loop. I'm still making the ultimate decision as to what goes in the video and what goes in the script. That's how AI, I think, is very useful for us. Um, and I'm using now when I do conference presentations and they ask me to write an abstract description for my talk, I don't write those anymore. I just go to ChatGPT for this talk. I just say, write me a 75-word description for a presentation on adversarial AI, lying chatbots, deepfakes, and more. And it spits something out. And if I need to, I edit it a little bit, and then that's what I submit. So it's good for those kinds of things. My concern as an educator is that a lot of students will be lazy and start relying on it to write all of their papers and things of that sort, and then they will lose the ability to or won't exercise that ability for critical thinking. And in the classes I teach, it's all about critical thinking. It's all about looking at a technology and deciding what are the good things and what are the bad things. Should we do this or should we not? How could this improve society and how could this hurt society? All right, I'll stop with that. Other questions? Anything else?